Video, we're going to continue learning some more things about color in Photoshop. So let's make a new document. So open up Photoshop, go to Web, choose Web Most Common, and you'll notice it goes back to 72 DPI and RGB because those are web specs. And then go up to the preset details, type your name, and then just type swatches. We're going to learn how to make swatches and do a couple other little tricks. So type your name -swatches and say create. I'm going to do Control plus. Also, I forgot to say make it a white background. So make sure you do that. All right, so what I want you to do is to learn how to, first of all, make swatches so that if you want to paint something, it can be painted the color that you want to paint it. So to do that, we're going to open up the swatches panel. I have mine open because I am in the workspace essentials default. Okay, and so that's where you can find that. If you're in there, you'll have it. If you don't have swatches open, you can always go over here and make sure it's checked. So go to swatches. Anything that you need open, if it's not open, check in window and make sure it's checked. All right, so to make a new swatch, you can just click on this little plus. If you look on the bottom of that swatches panel, there's a square with a plus in it. So just click on that and it lets you make a new swatch. So now what it's doing, it's making the color swatch what I already had over here on the left. Look at the left toolbar, all your tools, and at the bottom you have the foreground color and this is the background color. The swatch becomes whatever color you already have picked there. So if I wanted to keep this black, I would name it black and say okay. But we already have black in the swatches, so I'm going to cancel out of that. And what I want you to do is to pick a swatch that is some colors that you like. So maybe let's make 3 colors that you like. So click here and find a color you like you slide this up and down to get the different hues of color, and I'm going to pick this purpley pink color and I'm going to say okay. Now you could also just say add to swatches right there. So that's another way you can add to swatches. If you pick a color, you could click add to swatches there. So let's do it that way this time, and I'll call it Mrs. Oak's purple. Okay. And now let's say okay. And now you'll notice when we go over here to swatches, I have my color purple there. So like if I want to type my name, I can go over here and type my name. Click the check mark. And I'm going to make the size, let's make it 50. And you can see it's the color that I want. I have that purple color. Alright, so let's try making another one. If you go over here and click in that area and let's pick a totally different color, maybe like this teal color, say okay. And then let's do it this way. This time go up there and click the plus, and you can see that you can add a color just by adding the plus. Once it's picked in this foreground color, you can go up to the thing on the right and press the plus. And I'll call it Mrs. Oak's teal and say okay. And now in the swatches I have that. Now it's putting them in categories here, pure, dark. It has all these swatches in different categories like that, but it's also at the very top. Like if you don't remember what category your color is, if you go up to the very top, you can see these are the last colors that I used. We have the teal that I just made, the purple, and then the last video I made, I did the CMYK, and I was using whites and blacks, and then I did the RGBs. So it's keeping track of all the colors that I recently used as well. Alright, so that's how you pick color swatches in Adobe Photoshop. I want to show you another thing too called this brush here. If you click on this brush, what I want you to do is to make some different brush strokes across the page, just picking some different colors. So let's go ahead and do that. Click on the brush tool The options for the brush tool are up here. We have the size and hardness. I think we went over that in some of our other assignments. So if you want the brush to be big, you move it this way. If you want it smaller, that way. A hard brush and soft brush. So what I want you to do is start off. Let's just put some different strokes across the page. Let's make the size of this 100 and the hardness 0. Okay? And we need to make a new layer too before we can actually start painting. Right now we only have a text layer, and you can't paint on a text layer. See how it has that circle with a slash? You cannot paint on a text layer. So go up to layer, say new layer, and I will name this brush strokes and say okay. Now let's make some different brush strokes so that you can see what they look like. So here's what a soft brush looks like. Looks like that. Now let's pick another color. Let's pick that first purple that I liked before, and whenever I click on it, notice how now it comes over here in my foreground color picker right there. And now I'm going to get a brush. I'm going to leave the same size, but this time I'm going to make it 100% hard and go across, and you can see how a hard brush looks. It looks, you know, there's a hard edge. It doesn't fade at all like the soft brush does. And then I'm going to pick another color. I'm not going to make my own swatch. I'm just going to use one of these that's already done. I'll click on that, green, and then let's try a completely different style brush. Now when you click this brush size right here, that little arrow, if you scroll down you'll see that there's different types of brushes. You see general brushes, which is what we were using, the soft and the round, but they also have these other types of brushes. So I want you to try some of these out too, just to see what they do. You don't have to draw anything specific. When I clicked this, it made the brush size a lot smaller. So let's bump it up to about 80 and then just try brushing and see what it does. Pretty cool. Alright, now I'm going to pick a different color and a different brush. I'll try this one. Leave the size. 60 isn't too bad. I just don't want it to be too small or you won't be able to see what it looks like. 60 is good. So then try that brush out. See what it looks like. Let's make another one. Pick a different color swatch. And let's try maybe what some of these special effects brushes do. How about one of these? Pretty interesting. Oh, it switched over to a smudge tool. I don't know why. So go back to the brush tool and click on that. I have no idea why that happened a minute ago, but anyway, it's okay. This is just experimenting anyway. Let's try this screen tone one. I'm going to pick another color. Alright, so just try that. Make a page and make a couple of swatches. Try some different brushes. Just click on the brush tool. Go up here to the options and click them. There is one other thing I need to show you on here before I let you go is this opacity. If you have the opacity set really low, let me go back and get a normal brush again real quick and show you this general brush. I'll pick the hard round. If you have the opacity set really low, it makes the brush stroke really light. Okay, so if you have the opacity on 100, then you can see it makes it fully opaque, which means you can't see through it. The opacity just means what you can see through. So if you want something to be really light, you can lower the opacity. So if you're ever brushing and you're not seeing anything, check the opacity because maybe it's just on 0 or a really light color. So you can adjust the opacity up there. So for this assignment, I want you to make some swatches and experiment with some different brush sizes and just scribble anything on the page. If you want to try to paint something, you can, but you don't have to. And that's it.